What's up my friends, welcome back. In the past video of this series we've looked at one of the switch voltage converters, and that was the buck converter. Today we're going to look at his big brother, the boost converter. I know that this is a very popular circuit and that there are already a lot of videos on this topic, but I want to give my own thoughts about this circuit, and not just how to build it but also how to implement the feedback. This is a very basic component and it's used in a lot of circuits anytime that you need to elevate your voltage. As the buck converter from the past tutorial will give you a lower voltage than the input, this will do just the opposite. It will give you a higher voltage at the output. So, in this video we will see how the boost converter works and we will build one using a lot of components and the Arduino to create the switching for the MOSFET and also to implement the feedback. Finally, we will use a specially designed IC like this one and create our own boost converter. So let's get started! This project is brought to you by JLCPCB, which is a manufacturer of quick PCB prototypes for more than 10 years and is the site that I use for all of my PCBs. Once designed, upload your Gerbil files on the JLCPCB site. Get a full review of the PCB, select your desired settings and order the PCB for amazing prices. I've ordered 10 of my prototype PCBs for only $2 and received those in 6 days. Crazy, right? So order your quality PCB and make your projects look a lot more professional. What's up my friends? Welcome back! So if you have a circuit that works at a certain voltage, let's say 5 volts, and you have a different part of this circuit that requires higher voltage, one way to achieve that is using a step-off converter, or so-called a boost converter. You apply voltage at the input and you get a higher value at the output. The requirements of this circuit are that even if you change the input value or apply a different load, you still get the same voltage at the output. So for that we will definitely need a feedback, and we will see how to make that later. So how does this circuit works? As always, let's start with just the power supply of let's say 5 volts and a load of maybe 100 ohms. If I only have the 5 volts power supply and I want to apply 10 volts on this load, how do I do that? How to get the 10 volts? For that, once again we will use the magic of an inductor. So let's add that component to the circuit. So here is how the magic of the coil works. The inductor doesn't like current changes, just as the capacitor doesn't like voltage changes. If you create a current flow through an inductor, in this case 50 mA, and then you stop that current, it will make whatever it takes to keep that same amount of current. Since current is voltage divided by resistance, and the resistance is given by the coil material and cannot be changed, the only thing is there to change is the voltage. So if the current value is getting lower, in order to keep the same value, we have to increase the voltage, and that's how we boost our output. Apply voltage to an inductor and it will create a magnetic field around it. When you stop applying that voltage, the magnetic field will collapse, creating a big voltage spike. Here on my breadboard I have a push button and a coil, and we will see the output on the oscilloscope. Anytime I press the button, 5 volts is applied to the coil. As you can see, we only have spikes when the current changes, so when I press or release the button. So our circuit will also have that button that will open and close the circuit, in this case a MOSFET switch, between the coil output and ground. Since the voltage at the output will be higher than the input in certain moments, we don't want a backward current flow, so a diode is placed at the output. Also, we want a stable voltage at the output, not just spikes. So in order to store the voltage, we add a capacitor. So basically our circuit is ready. All we have to do is to turn on and off the switch, creating a magnetic field and then collapsing it, and by that increasing the voltage. When the MOSFET is activated, a current will pass in this way. When we deactivate the MOSFET, the coil will want to keep that current value, so it will push it through the diode, charging up the output. If we do this fast enough, we could achieve a stable higher output than the input. To close and open the MOSFET, I'll use the Arduino for this first example, to create a PWM signal applied to the MOSFET. I'll mount this schematic on my breadboard, and I will use the RFZ44N MOSFET for the switch. a 100 microhenries inductor, a diode, and the 47 microfarad capacitor at the output. I'll connect a potentiometer to one of the analog inputs of the Arduino and adjust the boost converter output with it by changing the PWM signal width. In the code, I read the value of this potentiometer and change the PWM signal applied to the MOSFET gate. Upload the code, connect the probe to the oscilloscope, apply 5 volts at the input, and let's test it out. There you go. By changing the PWM signal width, I can get higher or lower voltages. The bigger is the width of the signal, the higher is the output voltage. So the circuit works. Then what is missing? Well, let's look what happens if I change the output load. The voltage at the output is not the same anymore, and we don't want that. Of course, with different loads value, the current will not be the same, and at the same time the charging and discharging time of the output capacity will be different as well. So we should inform the Arduino that the load has changed, and then the Arduino should also change the PWM value in order to keep the same output. This process is called feedback. So what we have to do is to add a voltage divider at the output and make sure that in all the cases the voltage will be lower than 5 volts, since that is the Arduino analog input maximum voltage. Now, connect this voltage divider to one of the analog inputs, in this case A1. Now, with the potentiometer we won't set the PWM signal value, but the desired output. If the output value is lower than the desired one, the Arduino will increase the PWM signal automatically. If the output is higher, it will decrease the PWM signal. That's how the feedback code works. Upload the new code. Make sure you have these connections and that the feedback is connected. And now let's try different loads. As you can see, I can still set the output value with the potentiometer. But now I change the load and the voltage at the output is the same. I can also change the input voltage and the output will still be the same. The feedback will do everything for me. The PWM signal will automatically change its width so the output won't change the value, as you can see here when I apply a different input value. Also, the PWM signal is now vibrating a lot, changing its width constantly in order to maintain the output. So great, now we have a good working boost converter. But using the Arduino for this circuit is not that efficient. A better way to do this is using a specialized design IC for boost converters. This is the LM2577 boost converter driver. It already has a feedback pin and all we need integrated inside. It has the switch and the circuit that will create the PWM signal. This is the schematic that I've used for this driver. I gather all the components and solder them on a piece of drilled PCB. This is the final component, so let's apply 5 volts to the input. There you go, the circuit works and it's quite small. Of course, you could buy directly the module if you want, but that is not as fun as building your own and learn something on the way. Well guys, you have all the schematics and codes below, so make sure you check the description of the video. If you would like to help my projects like this one, I have a Patreon campaign. The link is down below as always. I would really appreciate that, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If so, don't forget to click the like button like crazy and share the video with your friends. If you have any question about this video or any other, just leave it in the comment section below or my Q&A page. Also, don't forget to subscribe and watch all of my other great tutorials. Remember, if you consider helping my projects, check my Patreon page as well. Thanks again and see you later, guys.